excited. We're ready to go here. John Shelby, Buck Martinez, and another gorgeous night. And how about the lineup for Luis Sojo and Team Venezuela? All the middle of the order guys get so much attention. Hottest hitter, though, is Jose Lopez, Buck.
Well, Jose Lopez had that solo home run in the 3-1 win over the Netherlands. 6-15, 8 for 13 with a couple of long balls and 3 RBIs. The Seattle Mariners second baseman is on fire. You can see he hit 297 a year ago in the American League, so this is not a fluke by any means.
Puerto Rico has played such great defense the entire tournament. The guys in the outfield can catch it, especially Beltran, but you love the man behind the dish.
Well, I sure do. Yadier Molina, Gold Glover, that really throws well. And Jose Oquendo, the manager of Team Puerto Rico, has the luxury of 3 outstanding catchers, and he's matched each catcher up with the starting pitcher. This is the second time that these two have worked together, Ian Snell and Yadi Molina.
And the starting pitcher in this one, Ian Snell. A little right-hander, throws hard.
Yeah, it sure does, and he was the pitcher in Game 2 in that 3-1 win over the Netherlands in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He is of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they really like his approach. Throws a lot of strikes, comes right at you. You can see he had 5 strikeouts in that game and threw just 50 pitches in 4 innings.
So Ian Snell will start things off on the hill. And he'll face Gregor Blanco, the speedy outfielder from the Atlanta Braves. And a foul ball. We're underway here at Dolphin Stadium.
Both of these ball clubs are really charged up. Around the batting cage, there was so much energy prior to this game. In fact, the starter for Venezuela was here at 3 o'clock, Felix Hernandez. They know what's at stake, a trip to Los Angeles in the finals.
And Blanco fouls off another. I mean, you talk about some crowd support on both sides. Got the bells, the thunder sticks, the horns. Nice stop, Molina, and it's 1-2. Ian Snell, who is 27 years old. He grew up in Delaware, 26th round pick by the Pirates in 2000.
Now, he signed a 3-year contract a year ago with the Pittsburgh Pirates that includes an option for a 4th season. Good breaking ball again, and when you have a leadoff hitter like Blanco, you throw a couple fastballs, he fouled them off, and you get him in a swing mode, and you think he might chase that breaking ball, but so far Blanco's done a good job of laying off that hard breaking ball.
Gregor Blanco's a guy that will take his walks, and he's got excellent speed. Snell deals.
Blanco starting tonight. Endy Chavez started their last game against the Netherlands and got it off and running with a leadoff triple off Sidney Ponson.
Blanco, Mora, and Abreu against Snell to start this one off. The opposition hitting just 188 against Puerto Rico so far in the tournament in 4 games. Lays off pretty good at bat from Gregor Blanco from 0-2 to 3-2.
Yeah, that slider that he is laying off has never been in the strike zone, so he can see it early on that it's going to be in the dirt, and that's why he's able to lay off of it. In that situation, what you want from Ian Snell is a strike to ball slider, not that ball all the way slider that hitters can easily seize out of the strike zone.
So here we go, 3-2. Right there, got him looking. Blanco down on strikes. A long battle to start the game, and Snell wins it.
It's a good old fastball right at the knees, and I love the target that Yadi presented right there. He got down on one knee and really emphasized he wanted it downstairs, and Snell delivered.
See, Ian Snell, we told you, grew up in Delaware. His father was born in Puerto Rico. That is his father's name, Davila. Snell is his mother's name. And because his father was born in Puerto Rico, he is eligible to pitch for the team. A number of different ways you can be eligible to pitch in the World Baseball Classic. We will go over those coming up as Melvin Moore settles in. So, Bucko, a number of different ways that you can pitch for a certain country. Obviously, if you're just straight up a citizen of that country. But then there's also permanent residency, and if your parent is a citizen, or if a deceased parent was a citizen of the nation.
Yeah, that last rule there implies to Jerry Hairston and his brother Scott Hairston. They're both playing for Team Mexico because their mother was born in Mexico.
Ripped to right and a base hit. And Melvin Moore, born in Venezuela, and a big leaguer now with the Orioles. First hit of the game. He's greeted over there at first by Carlos Delgado.
Well, you're going to see a lot of good at-bats in this game, and this is a tremendous at-bat. How Moore stays on the ball, was up and away, and rips it into right field. Everybody is very, very in tune to having good at-bats in this game. They know the quality of the pitching they're facing, and nobody's trying to do anything too dramatic early.
And now Bobby Abreu, one out, man at first. Abreu 5 out of 16. In this 2009 World Baseball Classic. And Snell pumps in a strike.
Dr. Bobby Abreu about the intensity of this game. He's played in playoff games. He understands what it's like to play in championship scenarios. He said, I can't tell you how excited I am to have a chance to play against Puerto Rico with a trip to Los Angeles on the line.
Not an elimination game, but the winner is guaranteed to advance to the final round, the semifinals. Of course, the finals will take place in Los Angeles. Top 2 teams here from Pool 2 and the top 2 teams from Pool 1 out in San Diego. The 1-1. And there's the strike. Abreu talking it over with Ed Rapawano, the veteran crew chief and plate umpire.
Abreu's got one of the best eyes in baseball. Had a good look at it and a quick snap look back at Ed Rapawano and said, Eddie, you sure that had the inside corner? Many of the hitters in this Venezuelan lineup have had at-bats against Ian Snell. Abreu's faced him officially 5 at-bats. He's 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and 4 walks.
Did he go too far in the slider? Appealed to third and he went. Hitoshi Waterita rings him up. Abreu's gone. There's 2 down.
Snell gets that slider in the strike zone and then takes it down below the strike zone. Abreu thought he checked his swing, but the appeal to third, the umpire brings him up. That's the difference between the slider that Snell threw to Blanco early in the game that was out of the strike zone the whole way.
So now man at first, and with 2 down, left up to Miguel Cabrera to continue the inning. And Ian Snell, he's got that fastball ripping up there at about 92. And facing the 2008 American League home run champ, Cabrera hit 37.
Now, the frightening thing for the American League is the fact he hit 37 and he didn't even know the pitchers. His first year in the American League, and he got off to a slow start. He was playing third base. That was playing on his mind a bit. Then Jim Leland decided, you know what, I got to free up this kid so we can get the offense from him that we want. Moved him across the diamond to third base, and he went off.
Yeah, he won the home run title in a year I think a lot of people thought was fairly disappointing. It's funny. Up to 27 wins, 37 homers, and come on, you can do better than that.
In a big, big ballpark.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Driven to center. Beltran back, turning, and that one's off the fence. Moore to third, he'll stop there, and it's a double.
Moore's got to score on that ball. He hurt himself. That's what the problem is. With 2 outs, you're off on contact, and that's the reason Melvin Moore didn't score. He pulled the hamstring. This ball is deep, and Moore's running right here. He knows it's going to be over his head, but watch as he makes the turn. Then he pulls up lame about shortstop, and he can't score. Disappointing for sure. That was a run, but more importantly, it might cost them a player. What a tough pitch down. Running out over the plate, and Cabrera hammers it over the head of Beltran, who makes a phenomenal play on it. One hop off the fence, turns and fires to the cutoff man, but keep your eye on Mora. He knows he's got a chance to score right here, but he asks his legs to respond, and they just can't.
They've been kind of quiet about it, Buck, but I don't think that is an entirely new situation, because after their workout yesterday for Team Venezuela, they asked Luis Sojo about the lineup, and he said he wasn't sure. Moore has played a lot, and he's kind of sore right now, is what he said after the workout yesterday. And yet, he's staying in the game.
And so asking the trainer the status of Melvin Moore, who had been out to third base to visit. Obviously a very tight game. You just wonder how much that's going to hurt.
So second and third, and a great scoring opportunity with Mora at third. And Cabrera out there at second. Carlos Guillen, the DH, switch hitter, batting left. And like Bobby Abreu, going to learn a new position this year, left field.
Tigers want his bat in the lineup, and they've shored up the infield, so he's going to be pushed to the outfield. I don't care where you put him, he can hit.
Big time.
Everybody kind of wondered why he was going to play first, but he drove in 100 runs as a first baseman.
Slider right there. Rapalano says he won it 1-2.
This inning has really played into Ian Snell's confidence, because he can throw that breaking ball knowing that Yadi Molina can block it with runners at second and third. He bounced 2 breaking balls early in the game to the first batter, and that frees up the pitcher's mind to say, you know what, I can snap off my best one, and Yadi will block it.
Yadier Molina, the Gold Glove winner in 2008 in the National League. It'd be hard to argue that there's someone better defensively at the catching spot in baseball.
Now, you can't go wrong. You sign a Molina to catch. He's going to be pretty good. This guy's not bad either. Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez. And oh, by the way, the third catcher, Giovanni Soto, Rookie of the Year with the Cubs.
Like I'm being second guessed by the director. It's like, well, wait a second. What about this guy? You know what? Fair point. 2-2 now with 2 outs and a couple of more. Oh, he blew the fastball right by him. May have been sitting on that slider and waiting an extra second. Puerto Rican fans love it. Venezuela strands 2. Team Puerto Rico coming up to hit it. Back here in Miami from Dolphin Stadium, Puerto Rico coming up to hit. And here's the lineup. Top of the order, Feliciano, Vasquez, and Beltran. But how about Alex Cora, a veteran guy who helps defensively and handles the bat?
Well, it's like having an extra coach on the field. He is a very intelligent player. Plus, he's got some playoff experience with the Dodgers and 3 series with the Red Sox. So they like his presence in this lineup.
Melvin Moore is feeling out there. He's playing third base. Looked like the hammy was bothering him.
Obviously a very important aspect of that first inning. Moore couldn't score on the 2-out double off the bat of Cabrera off the center field fence. Normally he scores easily on that.
And Felix Hernandez delivers a strike. Felix, as they call him, only 22 years old. He is something else.
He's got great command. 4 years already in his big league career. 104 games of experience.
And immediately Moore is tested. Over there is the shortstop Scudero. And that drops out of play. That's about the last thing that Melvin Moore needed right there.
Well, and Scudero is aware of that too. So anything up in foul territory along the third base foul line. Scudero is going to give Moore as much help as he can. Here's the Venezuela defense. Miguel Blanco starting in place of Endy Chavez tonight. Ordonez and Abreu. Melvin Moore, obviously a very good defender, but now it's a question of how much his legs will be a problem.
Felix Hernandez just eats up Jesus Feliciano. And there's one away.
Like so many young pitchers, the first inning can be a real challenge emotionally to get your emotions under control, get into the flow of the game. But boy, he drops a hook on Feliciano, and he had no chance.
Jesus Feliciano played last year AAA with the Mets. And with one away, and the base is clear. Felix Hernandez will go back to work against Ramon Vasquez, the third baseman. But Felix Hernandez, tough guy to deal with. Certainly Ramon Vasquez, playing with the Rangers, knows all about it, facing Felix with the Mariners. But I mean, Hernandez made his big league debut when he was 19. This is a guy that has had a spotlight on him for a while now.
Yeah, and he's the #1 pitcher for the Mariners, so he always draws at big games and matches up against much more experienced pitchers. Good fastball with a lot of late movement. That was 95 miles an hour, and it exploded down and away to Ramon Hernandez.
With that last one, and now 2-2. He's a big kid, Felix. 6'3", 230. Take another look.
And he's got a very sound delivery. That allows him to find the strike zone a lot.
Breaking ball got him looking. Vasquez didn't like the call. And indeed, it looked to be a tad generous from that Rapuano on that breaking pitch.
It's a high breaking ball. Hernandez started to rise up. Ramon, that is. Watch the catcher move up a little bit. Sometimes that creates a problem for the umpire. But Rapuano, a very definitive strike 3 call. He thought it caught the top of the strike zone.
And here is Carlos Beltran. Ball 1 to the center fielder. Beltran had a lot to do with Puerto Rico's mercy ruling, if you will, of the United States. 3 for 3 with a home run. Favorites in the National League East next year. And he's late with that run.
Now, this is a great start for Felix Hernandez and Team Venezuela. The fact that he is totally under control. You don't see any adrenaline pumping in him right now. He is really relaxed and pounding that strike zone.
One up and away. I mean, for pure stuff, in the American League, there aren't too many you take ahead of this guy, right?
No, not at all. He's 22 years old, and early on he was a little bit heavy, but he was young, you know, kind of like a baby fat on him. But boy, he has turned into a man quickly.
A little bit low in ball 4. Puerto Rico and Venezuela. And we've had some great baseball so far in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Carlos Delgado now. He has been red hot. 6 out of 10. This get to play for your country and get to play for or play with one of your best friends in Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, these two have been friends for a long time. Beltran started out with the Kansas City Royals, spent some time in Houston, and then got that lucrative free agent contract with the Mets. There's a look at that shift.
It's interesting. You see that shift a lot against left-handed hitters. The Howards, the Tonys, the Delgados, rarely against the right-handed hitter. the count on Delgado. Fans on their feet. That one missed inside. I had seen the Texas Rangers do the overshift the other way to Vladimir Guerrero, but that's about the only guy I've seen it that way.
Yeah, and not many clubs do that because Guerrero hits the ball to all parts of the field. In fact, when Delgado is at his best, he drives the ball to the opposite field as well as anybody.
Right there, Delgado knew it. Got him. King Felix strikes out 3. Puerto Rico strands a man. One in the books. We go to the second. 0-0. We go to the second, no score. Magler Ordonez starting it off. And you see fans wearing Venezuelan jerseys booing him. And we'll explain that to you. Ian Snell back to work. And the first one to Ordonez. A check swing. And an appeal to first. He didn't go, says Masato Tomoshi. Well, here's the deal. Magler Ordonez has made known publicly his support for Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. That support is not popular amongst a lot of the Venezuelan fans and people in the country. And so the other day, anytime his name was announced, he was booed and booed loudly. I mean, to the point where when he struck out, they cheered.
And it's happened now in both venues, at Rogers Center in Toronto and here at Dolphin Stadium in Miami.
And here in Miami with a distinctly Latin flair. I think Ordonez anticipated that it might get bumped up a notch from Toronto, and it has. Miguel Cabrera coming to his defense. I mean, pretty simple. Hey, we're all playing on the same team. Cheer for all of us. Did he go? Yes, he did. 3-2.
Yeah, and the veteran Bobby Abreu felt the same way. He said, this is about our country, Venezuela, and us playing baseball. He said, we're playing as a team, and Ordonez feels the same way, that we should separate baseball and politics.
Right there, got him looking. I mean, it's wild to see in spots fans cheering against a player from their own team. This was on Saturday. Look at this. Venezuelan fans saying, get out of here. And Miguel Cabrera coming out and saying, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And so another strikeout for Ordonez. And with one away, the base is clear. The hottest hitter maybe in the entire tournament, Jose Lopez. 8 for 13. And a couple of home runs.
Shows you, too, the hottest hitter in the tournament trying to get on board. Had a good look at that second pitch and has the count well in his favor, 2-0.
Ian Snell has struck out 4 so far, but right here falling behind 3-0.
John, we talked about the 3 catchers on the Puerto Rican team, and Jose Oquendo, the manager, has matched up each catcher with a starting pitcher. So he's trying to get the battery as comfortable as possible. And with that in mind, Molina goes to the mound to encourage Snell back into the strike zone.
You did it too when you managed Team USA in 06. Why?
Well, you want the 2 as comfortable as possible in a very limited amount of games. I had Jason Varitek, Brian Snyder, and Michael Barrett, and I matched them up with Roger Clemens, Dontrell Willis, and Jake Peavy.
Just outside and a walk. A one-out baseball. So Snell, despite the 4 strikeouts, has given up a couple of hits and a walk and has had to work fairly hard. Already 33 pitches used up. Again, the limit 85 here in round 2. It goes up to 100 in the final round. Jose Oquendo, the skipper for Team Puerto Rico.
And he's watching the third base coach, Omar Malave, intently trying to see if he can't pick up a sign. Hernandez is a tremendous hit-and-run hitter. He handles the bat very well.
Lopez traded in December from the Orioles to the Cincinnati Reds.
Hernandez is in his free agent year, hitting in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. I expect him to be good for Dusty Baker's Reds.
In the air, left center field. Feliciano goes out, and Feliciano makes the grab. So 2 down now, and with a man at first, the scoreless game. And how about our umpires? The veteran Ed Rapuano behind the plate. He's already attracted some attention tonight. Masato Tomoyoshi, he's at first. Major League's Mark Wegner down there at second. And Hitoshi Watarita is the third base umpire. Change from the World Baseball Classic in 2006. In 2009, half of the umpires come from the International Baseball Federation and half from the major leagues. Although, Buck, just watching the games that I have broadcasted, the major league umpires seem to have the plate every single game.
Yeah, I think that's a correct assessment. I think you want a major league umpire behind there, and it's a wide spectrum of experience, certainly. International umpires, most of them have 25 to 30 years of experience.
Now Marco Scutaro. Scutaro sharing time at shortstop with Cesares Torres. And both these teams just loaded with talent. Snell continues to have some issues with the base of his spikes. It's not like there's been rain or there should be any moisture on the mound, so everything should be fine.
Yeah, this seems like he's a little bit out of sorts, not really that comfortable on the mound.
Stuff so far has been really good, though, for Ian Snell. Last year, disappointing season for the Pirates' Little Rat. He went 7-12 with 5.42 ERA. That was up over a run and a half from 2007 when his ERA was 3.76, and he looked to be butting into one of the better starters in the NL.
Yeah, he certainly has that potential. He gets himself in trouble from time to time when he tries to throw harder. And then he spins off that front leg over toward the first base foul line and loses the strike zone.
Yeah, last year walked 89 and 164 in the third inning. So lack of command when he struggles is a real issue, and it does manifest itself in terms of walks. Broken bat, soft liner, right field, fair ball. Rios, he'll collect that one. Racing to third is Lopez. And they're at the corners.
Not much you can do about this if you're Ian Snell. Good pitch down and away. Scutaro gets the end of the bat on the ball. His bat shatters, but he flares it down the right field line. Lopez goes first to third. Rios comes over and cuts it off. And it's runners at the corners with 2 out for the top of the order.
3 hits now for Venezuela. And Gregor Blanco back in. Blanco 0 for 1. Struck out looking his first time, but it extended it back, and he made Ian Snell work. He got behind 0-2 immediately. Worked the count full, but eventually struck out on a low fastball. Little tapper back to the mound. Snell with the bare hand and throws him out. Nice play. Gregor Blanco can fly. Ian Snell makes the play. And Puerto Rico able to pitch around another Venezuelan threat. Still 0-0 at the 1.5. 14 total hitters have come to the plate. 7 have struck out so far. Snell and Hernandez doing the job as Felix gets ahead here. Alex Rios at the dish. And Ian Snell has had to work a little harder than Felix. Breaking ball down and away, and it's 1-1.
Alex Rios has batted twice against, or actually 3 times. He's 2 for 3 against King Felix with a couple of RBI. That's what Felix is really becoming adept at, is throwing that BP fastball. Not 97, but 92. And it really disrupts the timing where he can get back into the at-bat.
Breaking ball down and away, and a BP fastball is just that, a batting practice fastball, or at least that's what they call it, I should say. It stands for batting practice.
Yeah, and it's not a 100% effort pitch. He just wants to get a little movement and get it back in the strike zone.
And high, the base hit through the left side. Rios singles to left, and the first knock of the game for Puerto Rico.
He is very quick, gets on top of this fastball. That's letter high inside, and he with his hands and gets the barrel on it, rips it into left field. What's the balance here? He gets that front foot down very quickly and keeps his hands back, and he's able to really get after that inside fastball.
Alex Rios with a stance that is strikingly similar to Vernon Wells. You put the two of those guys side by side, the mechanics are really, really similar.
Yeah, and it's not an accident. Their former hitting coach, Mike Barnett, was the guy that said, you know what, let's stand up a little bit more erect and just use your knees to flex down. And they look very similar.
Well, here's Pudge. Fastball upstairs. Pudge Rodriguez, a lot of attention swirling around him. I guess the deal not done yet, but Pudge appears to have signed with the Houston Astros.
Yeah, after initially having contract talks break off, it seemed like they're back on.
Runner goes, bouncer out to second, and it hit Rios. Rios to third. Second base umpire Mark Wegner didn't see it. And Luis Sojo running out of the dugout like he was shot.
Wegner says no, it didn't hit him. Sojo immediately came out of the dugout. Looks like Wegner saying, wait a minute, let me get some help here. But I didn't see it hit the baseman. It clearly hit Rios before he got to the bag at second base. The rule is a runner hit by a batted ball without being on a base is out. And that clearly hit him. And he was not near the bag, and immediately Lopez reacts. Watch the ball. Hits him on the leg, and it's the only thing that could have caused the ball to go into center field. There's the contact on the left leg before he gets to the bag, so by rule he is out. Remember, video replay is in place, but it's only boundary calls.
Boundary calls for home runs. Now here's part of the flavor of the World Baseball Classic. The umpire is gathering right now, and the man in there is an interpreter. Because remember, the first base umpire, Masato Tomoyoshi, is from Japan, and so is third base umpire Hitoshi Wadarita. And they have just ruled that Rios was hit by the ball, and he is out.
Yeah, and that's the correct call. The ball hit Rios, and Oquendo's out now talking with Ed Rapuano for an explanation. He said the guy was standing right there, and how can he miss that call and somebody that's 200 feet away make a call? And Rapuano says, Jose, you know we now confer on disputed plays. That's standard procedure. Here's the play again. A batted ball striking a base runner while he's in between bases. Rios bounces up, advances to third, but in fact he is out, and the batter is placed at first base.
So Pudge Rodriguez over there at first. He is, by the way, credited with a single. It's Felipe Lopez who reaches out and slots that to left. Ordonez started in and then had to go back for a moment. Makes the grab is too bad.
Ordonez saying that ball knuckled on him as Lopez hit it square on the button, but right after left field.
But as a former manager, I have to think that one of the things you like in terms of, progressive maneuvers the umpires conferring. That's a positive step, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. You have 4 umpires on the field, and obviously every once in a while an umpire is going to be caught in a bad position. So you allow them the opportunity to meet, discuss what the other 3 umpires have seen, and more often than not get the call right.
Javier Molina now. Getting the start with Ian Snell on the mound. 3 outstanding catchers for Puerto Rico. Molina, the Gold Glover, future Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez, and the Rookie of the Year, Giovanni Soto. And it's interesting because Pudge Rodriguez obviously looking for work, but they need his bat in the lineup. So he's been DHing, but when you focus on a guy like Molina, he's developed into a pretty good hitter himself.
Certainly the backbone of that Cardinal team, and he came up as a very young player and moved right into the everyday spot. Phenomenal defensive player, but you're right, John, he has improved his offense to the point where he has become a run producer as well. Now there's a beach ball on the field in center field. That's why the play has been stopped momentarily here as they remove that.
Here's this outstanding trio of catchers here in the WBC.
And Puerto Rico has always had a rich heritage in catching talent. When you think back to Benito Santiago, the guy that got it started, Eliseo Rodriguez, another fine catcher from Puerto Rico, and Javi Lopez, of course, another great major league catcher. But they have always been productive there. There's Giovanni Soto calling the running game from the bench. Or not.
And that one downstairs. Ball 4. And 2 are aboard. But Giovanni Soto messing around with those signs, but there was a young guy who came up as a catcher, aspired, looked like he might win the Rookie of the Year with the Toronto Blue Jays at catcher, who's playing first base for them now. Carlos Delgado, that was where he started.
Yeah, he was a minor league player of the year as a catcher in the Blue Jays minor league system, and then made the transition to first base.
Now that's 4.
Pitchers having a bit of a rough go in their second inning of work, and you wonder if the adrenaline really kind of sapped their energy after that first inning. A lot of emotion here in this atmosphere. And now Ramon Hernandez, a veteran, out to talk to 22-year-old Felix Hernandez, just to give him a little breather, a little break here, and get him refocused.
Again, the pitch limit in round 2 is 85, up from 70 in round 1. And it's not even the total so much as the ratio, 16 to 15 strikes to balls. 4 gets a piece, and it's 1-1. Back in 2006 in the first round, it was 65, 80 the next round, so on and so forth. So they bumped up the limits here in 2009, but we're at 85 as the ceiling mark for tonight. Left field, Ordonez, couple of steps back. He's got it. And that's that. Puerto Rico leads a couple. We played 2 here in Miami, and still no score. Ian Snell back to work as we go to the 3rd. No score. And Melvin Moore, a single, was left stranded at 3rd back in the 1st. Appeared to have tweaked a hamstring while running. First one from Snell, misses the mark. Melvin Moore is an interesting story, Buck, from this standpoint. A guy who has been a solid everyday player for 10 years, but did not get that chance until he was 28.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that just bounced around, started out in the Houston organization, then went to the Mets in the minor leagues. He was a product of the Houston Venezuelan Academy. that was developed by Andres Reiner. And Reiner had this vision of young Venezuelan players coming to the academy and developing into major leaguers, and 8 of the first 14 he signed made it.
Fly ball center field. Beltran. One down. I mean, besides Moore, you're talking about guys like Freddie Garcia and Richard Hidalgo, number of great players. Well, the 2009 World Baseball Classic continues tomorrow. The loser of this one will take on the U.S. in an elimination game. So that will be a biggie tomorrow night here in Miami. And then 11 o'clock Eastern in San Diego, an elimination game between Japan and Korea. That'll be the 3rd time those 2 teams have matched up. And remember, back in 2006, Japan and Korea matched up 3 times then. The interesting thing about 06 for Japan and South Korea was the fact that South Korea won the first 2 times, but neither were in an elimination setting. And in the semifinals, Japan won it. So we'll see what happens. They've split so far when they met up in Pool A. Right here. Strike out his first time.
Here's another product of that Houston Academy in Venezuela, Bobby Abreu. And there's a diminutive left-hander that pitches for the New York Mets that was also part of that class. A fellow named Johan Santana. Andres Reiner had a very hot hand.
And it's amazing, the guys, as we mentioned. You look at Mora or Freddie Garcia or Richard Hidalgo or Abreu.
Yeah, as a scout, if you sign one of these guys, you've had a good career. 8 of those first 14 that Reiner signed made it to the major leagues.
Whiskey in another. 3-1. And Abreu takes a strike. Bobby is not pleased with the zone from Ed Rapuano here tonight.
We talk often about hitters and their timing in spring training. Well, you know what? Umpires have to work on their timing as well. It's early in the year for umpires, and there is a distinct sense of timing as the ball gets close to that strike zone.
3-2. Just missed.
Ian Snell's thinking, well, the other one was a strike. What was wrong with that one? Pretty much the same spot. Late tail just around the inside corner, according to Ed Rapuano.
So no score. Man at first, 1 out, and Cabrera at the plate. 24 years old, and he has 175 career home runs. And there's a strike.
He has a home run against Ian Snell. That came back in May of 2006 at Pittsburgh. In a 3-run home run in the first inning. It was part of an 8-2 Marlins win over the Pirates. Talked to Andres Galarraga about Miguel Cabrera, and the big cat, of course, one of the icons in Venezuelan baseball. I said, what do you like about Cabrera? He said he loves to hit with runners on. He's a run producer.
That throw the first hit Bobby Abreu, and now time called as the baseball redirected into the outfield.
Looked like it hit him right on the elbow as he was reaching out for the bag. Now very aware of Abreu's ability to steal bases, and if that ball doesn't hit Abreu, it's down in the corner, and Abreu ends up at third base. But you can see it hit him on the left arm as he slid back into first. The guy was saying, how's it feel, Bobby?
Not so great. quick bat for Miguel Cabrera.
You hate to run in a situation with Cabrera to play, kind of run yourself out of an inning. But Bobby Abreu, he's got a knack for stealing big bases. Doesn't really run like he once did early in his career, but boy, he's got a real high percentage, and he always works to get to that grass cutout. That indicates he's got a good, comfortable lead.
Runner on the go, a swing and a miss, but Abreu steals it, and Buck Martinez right on top of that one.
Molina showing off to second baseman Felipe Lopez, and because of that, the glove goes up. Wicked breaking ball in the dirt. He did a heck of a job of catching it. But from his knees, the short hop. Watch the glove. Has to come up to catch the short hop. And with that, Abreu steals. He doesn't steal as many as he once did, but he gets big bases. Great shot of Lopez and his focus to keep the ball from going into the center.
So a man in scoring position. Yadier Molina paying a visit to the mound. Ian Snell already has thrown 51 pitches. So I'm sure Jose Oquendo would like to see him a tad more efficient.
But he's still got plenty of fresh arms in the bullpen and quality arms. So he's not going to have a real long leash if Snell can't find the strike zone.
Carlos Guillen 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Offensively, an off season for Carlos Guillen, who has been a 100 RBI guy in the past.
Came up through the Astros system, but lost them to the major league level with the Seattle Mariners. Remember, he was part of that big trade. Randy Johnson went from Seattle to Houston. It was Guillen, Freddie Garcia, and John Halama went from Houston to Seattle, and Garcia and Guillen helped for a long while out in the Northwest. You know, Buck, you think about trading an elite pitcher or elite player, it's hard to get value. You get an everyday shortstop and a #2 type starting pitcher, you got pretty good value.
Yeah, that was a good deal for Seattle.
There's a 1-1.
Right now, with Snell ahead of Guillen, the defense will be a little more conscious to the opposite field. When you get 2 strikes, you're not as aggressive, and you're trying to defend the strike zone, keep the at-bat alive, and you don't pull the ball with as much authority. So Beltran has slid over a little bit more toward left center.
Slap past the diving Cora into center. Here comes Abreu and Venezuela on top 1-0.
Seen excellent situational hitting from both of these clubs, and that is a tough pitch. 2 strikes, shortened up, put it in play, and drove it into center. The drive home Bobby Abreu, who got himself into scoring position with a big stolen base.
And here's Magglio Ordonez as if to rain on the parade. Fly ball right field. Fans continue to give Ordonez a hard time. But Team Venezuela strikes first. 1-0. They lead Puerto Rico. Home half of inning number 3, and Puerto Rico trailing Venezuela 1-0. look high above Dolphin Stadium on a gorgeous night. Felix Hernandez back to work, and a strike pumped in there.
Feliciano's had a very good tournament coming into this game, adding 600 more, trying to take the bunt away from him. Whelan on the grass at third base. Feliciano has played so well, he has kept Bernie Williams on the pine. The great former New York Yankee Bernie Williams played down in Puerto Rico, but since Feliciano has gotten hot, he's been pushed to the role of an extra man.
Spins Feliciano away. You know, Bernie was excited about the opportunity to play. I don't think he's gotten it totally out of his blood yet. I think the only issue is there are only two teams Bernie's interested in playing for: Puerto Rico and the Yankees. And that kind of limits your options.
Yeah, it sure does. And the Yankees are full up in the outfield right now. But he played in 3 games in the first round and went 0 for 4.
Making a liner to center. Blanco. One down. Eric Met farmhand retired. And Ramon Vasquez, who will join his starting pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates when the World Baseball Classic comes to a close with Puerto Rico. And Vasquez last year with the Texas Rangers.
Boy, that is a tough first pitch strike with the curveball. There's not a hitter in baseball that's going to swing at that pitch. If you can throw that get me over curveball, you are really in the driver's seat. And then you tack on a little moving fastball right in on the letters. He's really got the hitters going back and forth. Brute late movement catches the inside corner. As a hitter, you'd like to be able to eliminate a pitch or two. Standing at the plate saying, okay, he can't get his breaking ball over, so I'm just going to sit on the fastball. You can't do that with Hernandez.
Swing and a miss. Vasquez just tied up right there. And the 4th strikeout of the game. Felix, 2 away.
That was a high cutter. Fastball trying to go inside, and look at it, backs up actually and goes away from Vasquez. That can be a very effective pitch. Unfortunately, pitchers don't know when it's going to back up. They get underneath that breaking ball and it spins in the opposite direction and goes away from the left hand.
Here's a guy, Carlos Beltran, signed a monster contract with the Mets, and he's just so quiet and unassuming. Look at the numbers that he's put up and the job he's done. What a player. And how about the other night against Team USA? He was everywhere.
3 for 3 and 2 base hits from the left side, and then he would turn around in the 7th inning, lead it off with a solo home run off Matt Thornton. That led to a 4-run inning.
And slaps that one down the third baseline. Beltran around first, and he'll chug into second. And he's 1 for 1. A walk, and now a double.
Well, the benefit of being a switch hitter is you have the ability to have the breaking ball come to you, and then he takes it the other way, past Moore into left field. A 2-out double for Beltran. That ball was right on the outside corner. He just stayed on it and slapped it past the third baseman.
Carlos has put $5 million into a baseball academy in the city of Florida in Puerto Rico. And truth be told, that really got rolling with the 2006 World Baseball Classic. So again, the goal of this tournament is growing the game globally, and with 2006, hopefully renewed interest everywhere, including places like Puerto Rico. Takes down and away.
Well, Puerto Rico has really fallen off in the grassroots baseball area. And Carlos Delgado and Carlos Beltran are very conscious of the exposure this tournament brings to their homeland. All these kids grew up playing organized baseball, and it has really dropped off dramatically. I personally believe that the draft has had a negative impact on Puerto Rican baseball because there isn't a wealth of organized sports in high school. So there's no place for these kids to play. And then if you're going to restrict them to be drafted by Major League Baseball, they're not going to have the ability to play.
Swing and a miss. So let me see if I get you right. So you think that baseball in Puerto Rico would be better served repealing the draft, as it were, then teams open up academies like they would have in Venezuela, the Dominican?
Exactly. Then you go back to signing 16 and 17-year-old kids, putting into these academies, and then baseball would return to prominence in Puerto Rico.
Fastball inside.
There was only one All-Star from Puerto Rico last year, when usually you will see 15, 20 years ago, 8 to 10. From Puerto Rico, and it's fallen off, and these major league players wanted to come back.
Swing and a miss right there as Carlos Delgado comes up empty.
Delgado is swinging the bat real well. Look at the eyes open up as he focuses on that breaking ball, and he's surprised that he didn't hit it.
So here we go, Venezuela up 1-0. 2 outs, man at second here, bottom 3. Runner going, and Delgado will take his base. A lot going on right there, including Felix Hernandez falling down after delivering that pitch.
Well, every time somebody stumbles or winces, trainers shoot out of the respective dugouts. Watch the pitcher follow through here. His landing foot slips, and you can see he falls down and then got up very gingerly on his ankle. And immediately the training staff bolted off the Venezuelan bench. He tells him he's okay. Just kind of an awkward little stumble on an exaggerated follow through where he lost his foot.
And somewhere James Forensic breathes a sigh of relief.
I don't know if he's relieved yet. He's the general manager of the Seattle Mariners.
Luis Sojo certainly not relieved right now. His team up 1-0, but a precarious spot with runners at the corners. And Alex Rios, a single his first time. Nice stop by Hernandez.
It'll be interesting to see how they work Rios in this at bat. Dangerous hitter from the Toronto Blue Jays. Single on a tough fastball, right in on his letters and up. Protection behind Rios.
2-0.
Trying to run that two-seam fastball back over the outside corner and missed.
Remember, Puerto Rico, the only unbeaten team remaining in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. We're down to 7 teams as the Kingdom of the Netherlands was eliminated last night by the U.S. Good breaking ball right there.
Again, the ability of Hernandez to throw his second and third pitches over in fastball counts. That's what makes him so difficult. This is 2-0, a fastball count, and he finds the strike zone with the slider.
And that one finds the mark. Now 2-2.
They haven't gone back to the inside corner in this at bat.
feet. First and third, 2 down. Here we go. Soft fly ball right field, and Bobby Abreu puts it away. Puerto Rico leads 2. We played 3, and it's 1-0. We played 3, and a look at how the pitchers have fared so far, and pretty even. Both have used a decent amount of pitches. Command has been an issue at times, and they continue on the mound against Snell and Felix Hernandez. Hard to say really who has the advantage.
About as even as you can get.
And Jose Lopez foul tip snap one into the glove of Yadier Molina. Lopez walked his first time. He is 8 for 13 in this tournament with 2 homers.
That's pretty good.
And you can expect more outstanding analysis from Buck Martinez the rest of the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Let's check out the dimensions here at Dolphin Stadium, notoriously a pitcher's park. And you see they got the high wall in left and left center. Out in center all the way 434, right center 385. Lopez at it again, laces it to left center, but Feliciano cutting across and makes the play. But Buck, he is locked in at the plate.
Yeah, everything he hits is a bullet. That just happened to go right at the left fielder who got a good jump on the ball. That was destined to be extra bases in the gap. Watch this swing. That's a wicked pitch. Sinker down and in just above his shoe tops, but it's a line drive to the left fielder, Jesus Feliciano.
So now Ramon Hernandez, who is 0 for 1. And again, Hernandez, like a number of big leaguers, seems like a lot of players on this Venezuelan team, makes his offseason home here in the greater South Florida area.
And Hernandez, you saw his numbers for the Orioles. He was traded to the Cincinnati Reds during the winter meetings. And Dusty Baker, for one, is thrilled to have it. And a very good offensive player throughout his career. Had an off season last year, but the numbers really don't reflect the fact that he swung the bat fairly well all year long.
One popped up foul. So there you go. Activity in the bullpen. Giancarlo Alvarado joined by the lefty Lopez. Slow roller bounce towards third. Vasquez just going to put it in his pocket. And Ramon Hernandez, the rare infield single.
Well, Vasquez knows once it's on the grass, it's not going to go in foul territory. We saw a bunt in the USA-Netherlands game that just trickled off that grass and went into the dirt area and then into foul territory. But if it stays on that grass, it's not going to roll foul.
Marco Scutaro now. We mentioned this the night before last. This is one of the fastest playing surfaces in baseball. Slider finds the mark as Scutaro shows spot here in South Florida with that very, very difficult heat in the summer. The grass is cut way, way short, and so the balls really scoot on it. And as well, this is a multi-purpose stadium. The Miami Dolphins play American football here.
Yeah, this is as good as you're going to see this field. It's been in beautiful shape, but into August, when they start playing football games here, the football field runs from the third base foul line out to right field. and they really chew up this field, but it is in perfect shape for this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Rios out there in right is kind of in kickoff receiving position.
He's in the red zone.
That's exactly right. Right fielder in the red zone. The 0-2.
It's tough to start the runner at first base in this situation. A ball and 2 strikes with Ramon Hernandez. He is not very fast at all. And you hate to go into a swing and a miss, strike him out, throw him out situation.
Two and 2 now.
Carlos Arroyo, the pitching coach, on the phone down to the bullpen to check on the status of his 2 relievers.
Looks like Lopez is ready.
Yeah, generally they will throw, get loose, and then stand and throw pitch for pitch with the pitcher on the mound.
Little check swing roller. Delgado spins and throws, and they get the lead runner. A nice play there by the first baseman, not known for his defense.
And a much easier play for him to go to second base with the spin move. Cora standing there presenting a very distinctive target. Hit me right here. And they got the lead runner. It was going to be tricky if he was going to try to hit Ian Snell breaking toward first base. That was a much safer play.
And that play right there, an example of why, if you had your fantasy, you'd prefer your first baseman to be left-handed. Buck, my fantasies are not about left-handed throwing first baseman, but I understand the thought process.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand, and I think we'll leave it right there with that. But when your first baseman is right-handed and he's closing in on 500 career home runs, you don't mind the fact that he throws right-handed.
Yep. But we've seen some great left-handed throwing first basemen, to be sure. Guys like Keith Hernandez. I'll tell you another former New York Met who was brilliant defensively, John Olerud. JT Snow, another guy.
Olerud, like Delgado, started his major league career with the Toronto Blue Jays. A very sure-handed, slick fielding first baseman, and never got much recognition as a defender. How about Wally Joyner?
Sure.
Great fielding first baseman that dug everything out of the dirt. Keith Hernandez was so good. He made defense at first an offensive weapon. He would just take the bunt away from you and get that runner at second base every time. He was tough to bunt against.
Don Mattingly as well. Scooter over there at first. And Blanco spoils that offering. 0-2 on Gregor Blanco, who is starting in center field. Andy Chavez started on Saturday afternoon against the Netherlands. Blanco playing in the World Baseball Classic. The center field job for the Atlanta Braves still open, you'd say. I mean, Josh Anderson with a shot to start, and Jordan Schaefer as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good situation for Bobby Cox, as he's got 3 to choose from.
Timeout called. Molina out to the hill. Keep up with all the latest World Baseball Classic news and stats, and visit the official online shop of the World Baseball Classic, worldbaseballclassic.com. Here you'll find the largest selection of authentic WBC items for all 16 countries, including clubhouse gear, t-shirts, jerseys, and more, right from the source. That's worldbaseballclassic.com. 0-2 on Gregor Blanco. And a throw over to first. It is round 2 here in Miami. We are in Pool 2. Pool 1 out there in San Diego. And we're down to 7 teams. The Kingdom of the Netherlands eliminated last night by Team USA. And Blanco pops it up. Vasquez and Cora. It'll be the third baseman. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We are midway in the 4th, and it's 1-0. Home half of inning number 4 is Venezuela, and Felix Hernandez leading this one 1-0. John Shabby, Buck Martinez, as round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic continues. Pool 2 play. Winner of this one is guaranteed a spot in the final round in Los Angeles. The first of 4 teams to qualify for the final round in LA. As Pudge, first pitch swinging. And Lopez picks it up and throws him out. Rodriguez is out. Looks like Pudge going to have himself a new home next year.
Seems as though they're close to a deal with the Houston Astros that has been speculated upon. I spoke to Pudge about it. He said, well, I don't want to think about it too much before the game, but we're close.
Lopez taking a strike. So $1.5 million and then about another $1.5 million in incentives. And he's got to take the physical.
You can look at Pudge and see he's in great shape. He went down to winter ball and finished up the end of the season of the regular season and then played right into the playoffs to get ready for this tournament. Plus, to get himself in shape and audition for 30 baseball clubs.
One of the things that'll be interesting is to see how much they use Pudge Rodriguez. I mean, there's no doubt that he still thinks of himself as an everyday player. Pudge will be going to a Houston team that has J.R. Tolles. That's the guy they'd really like to seize that catching spot. Nice pitch there. Lopez down on strikes, and Felix has struck out 5. Humberto Quintero as well at the catching spot. Another look.
You can see the spin on that 2-seam fastball. It takes it right back over the inside part of the plate. This is really the pitch that Greg Maddux brought into vogue. That comeback 2-seam fastball that makes the left-handed hitters draw their hands away from the strike zone, and they are caught by the movement.
Little roller up along third. Hernandez picks it up, throws him out. How about that play? I thought maybe he'd let it roll, but he said, no, catcher's running, I'll throw him out. And he did. Quick inning for Felix Hernandez. End of 4 in Miami. 1-0. High above Dolphin Stadium as we get ready to go to the 5th. Venezuela out hitting Puerto Rico 5-3 and leading it 1-0. John Shambi and Buck Martinez from Dolphin Stadium. And a new pitcher for Jose Oquendo, Giancarlo Alvarado.
Last season at Salt Lake, 23 starts, 130 innings and 131 strikeouts. And the reason that he is tough to see is his delivery. He's got a crossfire delivery. Watch where his landing foot hits the mound, and then he is throwing and really hides the ball very effectively to the hitters. He steps across his body, and it's difficult for the hitters to find a release point. Really much more difficult for right-handed hitters than left, but it's a tough delivery.
And that is severe because, as Melvin Moore is finding out, he works off the first base edge of the rubber and then steps toward the third base side. And a strike makes it 1-1. Melvin Moore 1 out of 2 with a single. Melvin Moore now 37 years old. Up the middle. Cora ranging and throws him out. And of course, Mora not quite running 100%.
Yeah, his legs are bothering him. He hasn't really suffered a pull, I don't think. They're just sore this time of the year. They'll cut fastball. Cora showing his great range, but you can see Mora hobbling up the first base line. Back in the first inning with 2 outs, Mora's at first base when Miguel Cabrera hits the ball off the center field fence, and you can see how Mora is struggling about shortstop, and because of that, the third base coach had to stop him. Normally, he scores on that ball off the center field fence.
So Mora now 1 out of 3. And Alvarado deals a strike to Bobby Abreu.
A little bit of a smile to Rapuano. These two, of course, have been in the big leagues a long time together. And he said, well, Eddie, are you sure that's a strike?
I mean, they've been at it the whole night.
Yeah, and Abreu, of course, has a reputation of having an outstanding eye. Every year he gathers 100 walks. Very patient hitter. Sees more pitches than anybody in the game.
Lifted in the air, left field. Feliciano has it. And there's 2 away. Well, here in the World Baseball Classic, some rules you may not be familiar with. There are pitch limits. 85 is the ceiling in round 2. Mercy rules for the end of 5 and the end of 7. And then, of course, the special extra inning rule. If a game is still tied at the end of 12, the 13th starts in every half inning forward with runners placed at first and second. And how that is done is if the number 5 spot in the order is set to lead off, then the number 3 hitter is placed at second, the number 4 hitter is placed at first.
And you see all those rules, and of course the pitch count rule comes into play often, but the mercy rule not that frequently. But Puerto Rico scored 4 runs in the 7th to take an 11-1 lead and implemented the mercy rule against Team USA.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout. And Giancarlo Alvarado on 9 pitches dispatches Team Venezuela in order. Back here, Dolphin Stadium, only run of the game. You saw it there. Carlos Guillen, an RBI single to play Bob Abreu, and Bobby Abreu scoring that run in the 3rd. 1-0 Venezuela leading this one as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Felix Hernandez back to work. Alex Cora, Jesus Feliciano, Ramon Vasquez. And a strike pumped in here from Pool 2 in Miami. Round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic. Buck, we talked about Alex Cora earlier. You're a big fan, and you called him, what, another coach on the field?
Yeah, very intelligent player. Really takes a page out of his coach's and manager's strategy book. And he understands his role right here, leading off the bottom of the 5th, is get on base. He and his brother Joey Cora, highly regarded with their instincts about baseball, but also their mental approach to the game. Taking all the way, fully aware that he needs to be a table set.
Now, Team Puerto Rico, the only unbeaten team left in the tournament. They've been dominant in 4 games, outscoring the opposition 26-2. Having committed an error, a wild pitch, a passed ball, nothing. I mean, it's been pretty close to flawless, at least thus far, for Jose Oquendo's group. 3-2. And that one bounced foul.
Jose Oquendo has done a great job of preparing these big leaguers for this tournament. Perfect 4-0 record. Defeated Panama 7-0. Beat the Netherlands in a very tight ball game. Yadi Molina came up with a decisive 2-run double, and then beat Netherlands in the finals. And then, of course, the 7-inning shortened game against Team USA when they jumped on Jake Peavy early in that game.
But Jose Oquendo knows he can't get too happy, because back in 2006 they started 4-0, and in round 2 they lost to Venezuela, and then the next game eliminated by Cuba. Got him looking. Hernandez freezes Cora. Half dozen strikeouts for the 22-year-old.
Watch the reaction of the batter. He can't pull the trigger, and the emotions of Felix Hernandez. Drops a hook on the outside corner to Alex Cora to strike him out.
And now Feliciano takes ball 1. Jesus Feliciano starting in left field. And a strike right there. Buck, that last pitch, it looked like Ramon Hernandez had a little trouble catching it. I mean, how much familiarity is there, and how difficult is it if you're a catcher catching a guy you don't receive all that frequently?
Well, he had a chance to catch him before in 2006, and then this first round he caught him in relief. But when you have dramatic movement, it can handcuff even the best catchers. Breaking ball's not so much a problem, but it's that late moving fastball with darts, dodges all over in the strike zone.
And it's not a reflection on Ramon as much as just how tough Felix is to catch. They rise to their feet. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. That's 7. Oh, is he something else?
Hernandez got off to a great start here tonight in the first inning as he's facing the leadoff batter. Strikes him out, Feliciano. Vasquez can't pull the trigger. Delgado goes down. 3 strikeouts in the first inning. Then he comes back and gets Vasquez again. Felipe Lopez looking. And Alex Cora. And then another strikeout for Feliciano on a wicked breaking ball down and in.
Well, now Vasquez, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
We have seen this dominance from Felix Hernandez in the past in the major leagues. At the start of the 2007 season, he had 2 of the most dominant games of the entire year. He opened up the season against the Oakland Athletics, struck out 12 over 8 innings, held them to 3 hits. And then to back it up next time out, took a no-hitter into the 8th at Fenway. J.D. Drew led off the 8th inning with a hit, the only hit in that game. First 2 starts of the season, dominance, and then elbow problems.
Yeah. The strike makes it 2-2. You think they're having a good time here? 2-2. Fly ball right center field. Well hit. Abreu can't get it. Bounces off the wall. Blanco fires it in. Vasquez has a triple.
Mentioned Ramon Vasquez had seen a lot of Felix Hernandez, and he had hit him hard coming into this game. 4 for 9, and he hits a 2-out triple over the outstretched glove of Bobby Abreu. Well, Morris says, how can you hit this guy? Nobody else does. Abreu, lots of room to cover in right. Couldn't make a play with 2 outs. Vasquez tonight, his first hit, 3 trips, but he has hit Hernandez before. During the regular season, 4 for 9 with a pair of ribbies.
So a man at third with 2 outs, and the meeting breaking up on the mound. Roberto Espinosa, the pitching coach for Team Venezuela, just trying to calm the youngster down. Espinosa, the brother of former big leaguer Alvaro Espinosa.
Enrique Gonzalez, former starter of the Diamondbacks, and Carlos Vasquez, the left-hander. Boy, this is tough. Rock in a hard place here. Beltran and then Delgado.
Beltran and Delgado play together, of course, with the Mets. Carlos Beltran last year, 27 homers, 112 knocked in. Had a wonderful September while his New York Mets faded down the stretch for the second straight year. Tying run down there in third. It's Ramon Vasquez. That one in the dirt, but Hernandez keeps it close enough.
Certainly, after watching Hernandez throw good breaking balls all night long, Vasquez thinking about a short, wild pitch pass ball, but Hernandez does a heck of a job from home in squaring up on that breaking ball in the dirt.
And now it's 3-1.
I don't give in to Beltran right here, even though he represents the go-ahead run. Don't throw him a cookie. You get a fresh count with Delgado. Throw a breaking ball in the dirt, see if he'll chase. Not in the dirt, but he found the strike zone.
So now 3-2.
Now he's got the hammer. A 3-1 breaking ball brings him back into the count, and he can just about throw anything here.
Vasquez at third, a 1-0 game. Just got a piece.
Well, I tell you what, you look at Felix Hernandez and somebody tells you he's 22 and you say, are you sure? Composure.
But by the way, that last pitch, number 85, so he's not going to get a crack at Carlos Delgado. Outside, and he walked him. And that's that. So Luis Sol out of the dugout. 85 pitches the limit. You can exceed it to finish an at bat against the hitter, whether it results in a hit, a walk, an error, what have you. But Hernandez done for the night at 86, and a new pitcher will come in to face Carlos Delgado. A 1-0 game and a big spot when we return. Now back here at Dolphin Stadium, 1-0 Venezuela leading. Felix Hernandez, all he can do is watch now as Carlos Vasquez deals a strike to Carlos Delgado, or maybe he can't watch.
What a performance. 86 pitches, 4 walks. The final walk to Beltran got him over the pitch count.
Delgado late. Vasquez blew that one past him at 93.
Last year in AAA with the Portland Beavers, 19 games and inflated ERA, but right now he only has to get one guy.
The 0-2 got right in on his thumbs. Delgado 0 for 1 coming up in this big spot and wearing the biggest number for Puerto Rican baseball, number 21. The 0-2 got a piece. There's that number 21 of Roberto Clemente.
Surely the baseball icon on the island of Puerto Rico, and Delgado, like so many players, a big fan of the late Clemente.
He asked to wear it in 2006, was denied. They asked him to wear it this time around. Chases the slider. Vasquez strikes out Delgado. Oh, and are they fired up? That says it all. The lefty comes in and does the job. It's 1-0. We go to the 6th from Dolphin Stadium, Venezuela. A 1-0 lead as Carlos Guillen starts it off. He's knocked in the only run of the game. And facing Giancarlo Alvarado here at Dolphin Stadium in Miami. Pool 2 here in round 2. Winner of this game is guaranteed a spot in the final round in LA. Ground ball charged by Delgado. Toss to Alvarado, and there's one away. Now coming up after our game, the World Baseball Classic continues. Cuba goes up against Mexico. It's an elimination game, 11 o'clock Eastern. Check your local listings for the games and times in your region. Cuba at risk of being eliminated. They have not finished lower than 3rd in an international tournament since 1939.
Wow. Tremendous run of success internationally, and Cuba tonight up against Mexico.
And it always comes to life when Ordonez comes to the plate. You have Puerto Rican fans cheering against him, Venezuelan fans cheering for him, and Venezuelan fans cheering against him. Again, because of his support that he's made public for Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. That should be a real good game tonight, though. Cuba and Mexico from the 2009 World Baseball Classic. So coming up tomorrow, the two teams from the Far East, Japan and Korea, will hook up. Those two great rivals. They played twice in Pool A, and Japan won a mercy rule shortened 14-2 game. Korea won a 1-0 game. And it is intense when those two get together. Bouncer to short. Cora gobbles it up. And he's 2 away. Crowd still buzzing with Ordonez going back to the dugout.
Hey, what? There is a lot of energy in this ballpark now. A 1-run ball game. So much talent on the field for both ball clubs, and a well-pitched game. Ian Snell, the starter for Puerto Rico, out of the game. Felix Hernandez, the starter for Venezuela, also out of the game.
Jose Lopez now 0 for 1 with a walk. Lopez, the outstanding second baseman for the Seattle Mariners. Fly ball lifted to right that Rio settles under, and an easy quick 1-2-3 inning for Giancarlo Alvarado. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, still 1-0. Bottom half of inning number 6 in a festive atmosphere from Dolphin Stadium. Got ourselves a new pitcher. Great work by Carlos Vasquez, and now turns it over to Enrique Gonzalez.
Enrique Gonzalez a year ago in AAA, 35 games and worked nearly 100 innings. Gonzalez was a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks rotation, made 18 starts for the Diamondbacks back in 2006. Last year appeared in 4 games with the Padres after spending most of the season in AAA Portland.
So Gonzalez now, 5'10" right-hander, and facing Alex Rios. Comes up empty on that high heater. Rios now 2 out of 14 in the 2009 World Baseball Classic.
In the second inning, Pedro Rodriguez hits what looks like a ground ball up the middle, but it hits the leg of Alex Rios just before he gets to second base and caroms into the center. Immediately, Jose Lopez said that ball hit him and he's out. The umpires conferred and got it correct, called Rios out.
Lifted in the air, late start Abreu comes racing in, and the two-handed grab. And one up and one down. Team Venezuela led by Luis Sojo back in Canada at the Rogers Center. Beat Italy, lost to the United States, beat Italy again, and then beat the U.S. to be the champions in Pool C. The U.S. the runners-up, and then on Saturday a win in the first game here in Pool 2.
And we talked about the rich baseball history in Puerto Rico. Venezuela actually began their Winter League in 1945, and Luis Sojo, the manager of the Venezuelan team, has 5 batting titles.
Pedro Rodriguez just missed that one, flies to right. And there's 2 away. You played in Venezuela, did you not?
I played in 2 cities in Venezuela. I played in Caracas for the Tiburones of La Guaira. And then I played in Maracaibo with Zulia. Tremendous baseball. Obviously, great passion from the fans and a tremendous quality of baseball. Venezuela's Winter League still thriving. Puerto Rico, on the other hand, got back into winter baseball last year after a year absence. But Luis Sojo played many years for the Lara Cardinales in the Venezuelan Winter League.
That one hit hard off the pitcher. Gonzalez picks it up, throws to first, and they get him. Lopez hit it on the button, but Gonzalez, the kick save and a beauty. Still 1-0. Top 7 back here, Dolphin Stadium. Venezuela hanging on to a 1-0 lead. And here we'll try to add to it. Ramon Hernandez, Marcos Scudero, Gregor Blanco scheduled against Giancarlo Alvarado. Alvarado's gotten 6 up, 6 down. And he's only thrown 18 pitches, make it 19.
And I'm talking to Carlos Arroyo, the pitching coach of Puerto Rico. He told me that Alvarado throws everything in the strike zone and everything moves. A cut fastball finds the outside corner. And we mentioned how difficult it is for hitters to pick up his release point because of that crossfire delivery. He stepped distinctly toward the third base foul line and really creates problems for right-handed hitters to find the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it from our center field camera how tough it is to pick it up.
Yeah, and all you're seeing as a right-handed hitter is the back of his uniform, and then you're trying to find the release point, pick up the baseball out of his hand.
This ball's pretty well hit. Way back. That one is off the wall. Racing for third, Hernandez. It's a triple. I think that may have gotten out of here.
Yeah, and Luis Sojo is going to go out here and talk again with the second base umpire, Mark Wegner. Remember, the Major League Video Replay rule is in effect, and this is one of those calls where you could go to the video. Luis Sojo said that's not a home run. This ball is crushed. And that teal tower out there in left field here at Dolphin Stadium extends high above the field. Well, from there, that ball appeared to be in the seats.
Yeah, that ball's gone.
It's behind the fence. And again, the technical aspects of this tournament suggest that you can have some information brought to you on the field.
The gentleman in the middle there is the interpreter. Take another look here.
That's Ed Rappawan, the home plate umpire, trying to keep his eye on that ball as it hits up above the scoreboard. Those black seats behind the scoreboard are beyond the fence, and when that ball made contact with those seats, it's out of the ballpark. It's a home run.
And again, 2 major league umpires and 2 Japanese umpires. So the gentleman in the middle is a translator, and the interpreter brought out onto the field. And I think, well, Ed Rappawan was telling Luis Sojo and company get back in the dugout. And now Rappawan chatting with Sojo. He's bringing out Jose Oquendo. And again, the Major League Baseball replay rule in effect, one of the changes from 2006 and that edition of the World Baseball Classic.
They're going now over to take a look at the replay. There's the ball once again hitting above the teal-colored National League scoreboard against the seats in left field. That's clearly a home run. And John, you have worked many games here broadcasting for the Florida Marlins, and you have seen that often.
Yeah, it's interesting because some years back they actually had a home run ball that went over the big tall scoreboard out there, and Frank Pulley was working the game, and this was before they had even really thought about Major League Baseball replay. And Frank Pulley went over to the cameraman, looked in the viewfinder, and took a look at the home run. I believe it was Cliff Floyd that hit it, and they determined that the ball had indeed gone out. And oh, by the way, our cameraman John is working with us up here in the booth. He was that camera guy. That's who Frank Pulley went up to. And again, Frank got into a little bit of trouble back in the day for the fact that they went and looked at the camera at the video replay when they shouldn't have been doing that. And right now, at least to me, Buck, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. They're going to go in, see that the ball left the park, and it'll come back out, wave the finger, and it'll be about a, I don't know, a good 10-minute home run trot for Ramon Hernandez.
Well, the replay rule came into play in the middle of the season, and what they did was they implemented a replay video terminal at a place where the umpires could have easy access to it out of sight of the fans, of course. And then they will take all the various replays, and during the regular season the different replays come out of a war room in New York, if you will. Major League Baseball has the video feed. They'll feed back the video to the umpiring crew, and then they will indeed go out there. The rule also stipulates that an umpire stays on the field, and that's the case at the pitcher's mound. Now, one of the umpires has remained on the field just to make sure everything stays intact. And the one thing is that this is a new aspect of the game that I think is a good aspect of the game, because the ballparks have become such that umpires have a very difficult time telling whether the ball is in or out of the ballpark. There was a time when the ball would go over the fence and disappear because there were no seats in the outfield.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still, I mean, in this park, this is one of the tougher parks because you have that space in back of the high wall out there that runs along the left center field area, and those seats pull out for Dolphins football. But because of that space, the ball can go over the fence, hit something, and then bounce back onto the field. And in real speed, it makes it a little bit difficult. So, I mean, I think that of all the parks where replay is a help or necessary, or however you want to put it, this would be one of the parks where it does get a little tricky.
Yeah, and so many of the parks have the fans right actually over the top of the field. And of course, this all goes back to the playoffs between the Yankees and the Orioles, when Jeffrey Mayer reached over the right field fence at Yankee Stadium and interfered with the ball. And Richie Garcia, who is here as the umpiring supervisor, made the call that the fan did not interfere and called it a home run. And that was the beginning of the controversy whether or not we should use the available technology to help the umpires. And I have talked to many umpires, and they appreciate it, because in a normal situation without instant replay, everybody in a major league stadium knows what happened to the ball except the 4 umpires, because everybody else has had the ability to look at the instant replay. Ramon Hernandez hits a deep drive toward the scoreboard, and it's clearly above the National League portion of that scoreboard in left center.
Yeah, and again, they ruled it. Mike Wagner, the second base umpire, ruled the ball in play, and Ramon Hernandez logged, or I should say legged out, a triple. Sometimes for the catchers, it's a long run. Now, Buck, the one part that's interesting is I'm surprised it's taking this long.
Yeah, and that was one of the concerns when they implemented it in Major League Baseball, that it would be a quick resolution. And they certainly have enough replays to sort it out. It's already been 7 minutes since the umpires went to look at the video, and we have seen several of these during Major League, not several, but we have seen these calls during the major leagues, and it's been much more expeditious.
That play I mentioned took place back in 1999 on a Cliff Lloyd home run. And Frank Pulley went over, checked the replay in the camera, and now the umpires back out onto the field. Luis Sojo, Jose Oquendo are going to come out. And let's see what they say. Ball went over the wall. It's a home run. For Ramon Hernandez, it was worth the wait. And Venezuela now leads this one 2-0. Now, Buck, I think a good example of why that rule works.
Absolutely. And it took an awful lot of soul searching whether or not it should be done. And I'm a traditionalist and I like baseball, but I agree with it 100%. The ballparks have changed so dramatically that the umpires need to have the ability to go to the instant replay in a limited amount of calls. Borderline calls, fair or foul, out of the ballpark.
But again, as I said, ironically, or no, coincidentally, this was the first part to use instant replay to determine whether a ball was a home run or not. It just wasn't set within the rules. It was just something that Frank Pulley did one day back in 1999. One bunted to third. Vasquez picks it up and throws him out. And Marco Scutaro dives into the bag, but he is out.
That was a pretty good idea by Scudero, because everybody is a little bit deflated now after the long wait, kind of hoping he would catch the Puerto Rican team flat-footed. But Ramon Vasquez was on it, makes a quick throw, and Scudero is out despite the head-first slide.
The old Robbie Alomar play. Giancarlo Alvarado, brilliant, except for that one pitch to Hernandez. We got a pitching change. One out, top 7, 2-0 now Venezuela. And Philadelphia Phillies lefty J.C. Romero will take over.
Team Puerto Rico has 3 very capable left-handers down in that bullpen, and you can see what Romero did last year with the Phillies. Had an exceptional season, part of that World Series effort in Philadelphia.
Check swing, and he went. Hitoshi Wadarita rings him up. And the count 1-1. Gregor Blanco's had a tough night. Romero is a really interesting story because he is not going to be eligible to pitch for the Phillies for their first 50 games. Bunted back to the mound. Romero throws out Blanco 2 away. But you talk about home runs and instant replay in the bigs. This one overruled September 19, 2008. Carlos Pena was originally ruled in play, and it was a double. They went and looked at it and said, nope, home run. And Carlos Pena goes deep, albeit a delayed home run trot off of Booth Bonser. That was the first official reversal of a home run called via replay.
And that was at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, and it too is one of the more difficult fields for umpires to differentiate home run or in play, because there's a yellow bar and a cyclone fence in between, if you will, a chain link fence between the padding and the top of that yellow bar. And it's really tough, and that's one of the places where it really becomes imperative they have the ability to go to the replay.
So 2-0 now to Mora. And that one misses 3-0 just to finish off on the left-handed pitcher J.C. Romero. You see Richie Garcia and Jeffrey Loria chatting. Richie Garcia, umpiring supervisor. Jeffrey Loria, the owner of the Florida Marlins. That one drilled to center. Beltran, though, good jump and makes the grab. A home run for Venezuela, and it's now a 2-0 game. Puerto Rico, the only unbeaten remaining left in the tournament. And how about the in-game box score? Vasquez with a hit, Rios and Rodriguez, but for the most part, Team Puerto Rico has been shut down in this one. Held to just 4 hits, and Yadier Molina to start it off.
The most pivotal at bat in the game, in my estimation at this point, was back in the 5th inning, with Puerto Rico having runners at first and third and 2 outs in a 1-0 game, and Carlos Vasquez came out of the pen to strike out Delgado to end the threat. He had 1 assignment, and he answered the call.
So a 2-0 deficit for Puerto Rico. That offering outside, now 3-0.
I would think Carlos Delgado faces more left-handers in pivotal situations out of the bullpen than just about any left-handed hitter in the National League. And the reason he has to face so many left-handers is the switch-hitting Beltran hits ahead of him. And managers won't make that move and switch Beltran around, but they'll save that one left-hander. And Delgado's constantly dealing with that situation.
Another strike, and Gonzalez has come back to make it 3-2. Molina, Cora, and Feliciano here in the bottom half of inning number 7. A 2-0 game. Been a good one tonight from Dolphin Stadium. And the breaking ball misses outside. He walked it.
Boy, I really question that pitch right there. You're up by 2 and you throw a 3-2 breaking ball to the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Made no sense.
You want to see him be a little more aggressive in that spot.
I have never seen a 2-run home run with nobody on. And I've seen a lot of baseball.
Alex Cora now. Cora, who signed this past offseason with the New York Mets. Shows bunt, takes a strike, and I figure Alex going to have an opportunity to play in some different spots, but you wonder about the health of a Luis Castillo, and ultimately Alex may wrestle some playing time away from Luis. Bounce it to first. Cabrera to second one. Return to first. Not in time. Cora beat it out.
Well, Cabrera made a real good throw, and as you mentioned, that is a challenge for a right-handed throwing first baseman to get inside the base path. But look at this throw. He clears the base path, throws a strike to Scudero, but Cora hustles down the line to return to beat the return throw. Perfect angle for the shortstop. You can see that ball all the way, and the frustration proves Cabrera wants to become that Gold Glove first baseman, much in the way of Albert Pujols.
So now Feliciano, Jesus Feliciano, 0 for 3. Only 2 run producing hits in this game. In the third, Carlos Guillen singled in Bobby Abreu for Venezuela. And in the 7th, Ramon Hernandez, a solo homer. Runner on the go. Cabrera knocks it down. Kicks into foul ground, and then he gathers it in. And Cora moves to second. There's 2 away.
Cabrera smothered that ball. Bounced off the bag after holding Alex Cora at first base, and watch how he smothered his tricky hop. Just got his body in front of it and knocks it down, and has plenty of time to step on the bag and retire Feliciano.
That'll make an old catcher proud, won't it? He got the hands between the 5-hole and kind of rounded the shoulders a little bit.
Well, the last thing you want is that ball to get past you, and you're going to have runners at the corners at least.
So Vasquez now, a triple his last time. And a breaking ball clips the inside corner. Felix Hernandez started, went 5 2/3. Gave up 4 hits, no runs, walked 4, and struck out 7. And at times the stuff was electric. Ramirez and Orber Moreno. And now Gonzalez kind of spraying it all over the place again.
Yeah, and he is really getting to a dangerous spot in this lineup with Beltran standing on deck.
Slider for a strike.
Vasquez thought it was down. Had a good look at it the whole way. Ramon Hernandez does a pretty good job of catching that with his palm down to make it look better than it actually was.
So now 2-2. And that one inside, it's filled up. I mean, with Beltran on deck, you want this to end right here.
But at the same time, there's 2 fresh arms down in the pen. Don't give in to him and throw it down the middle.
Swing and a miss, he got him. Breaking ball, Vasquez over top of it. And Venezuela still on top here. It's 2-0. The winner of this one guaranteed a spot in the final round in Los Angeles. Looking good for Venezuela, leading 2-0 as we go to the 8th. The winner of this one will be the first of 4 teams to qualify for the final round. J.C. Romero continues. And the left-hander from the Phillies facing a former Philly, Bobby Abreu. And a breaking ball up and in. Buck with Abreu at the plate facing a tough left-hander. Just finished the story on JC. He's an interesting situation. He's pitching in the World Baseball Classic. He is eligible, but not eligible to pitch in the majors for the first 50 games of the year for violating Major League Baseball's banned substance policy.
Yeah, he tested positive last year at the end of the season, and with that goes a 50-game suspension. He appealed it and lost the appeal, so he will have to sit out the first 50 games of the Philadelphia Phillies season.
And Phil's pen will be shorthanded early as Abreu takes inside. 3-0. Been a fun night at the ballpark here. Round 2 from Pool 2 in Miami, the 2009 World Baseball Classic. A little under 26,000 here tonight. And Romero pumps in a strike. Winner of this one guaranteed to move on to Los Angeles. The loser will meet up with Team USA tomorrow night in an elimination game. (3-1). Fisted on the ground to first. Delgado, Romero, safe. Abreu was busting it the entire way, and Romero was late.
Left-hander falls off to the third base side of the mound, and he's got an extra long run. Look at Abreu. Beat him easily at first base. That shows you the intensity. The long-time veteran beats out J.C. Romero at first base. Delgado with the flip. He can see the picture developing in front of him, and clearly Abreu is safe.
Jose Akendo out of the dugout. And the skipper makes the point to the pen. We'll be back right after this. Top 8 with the pitching change. A man aboard, nobody out. Miguel Cabrera stands in. Saul Rivera is the new pitcher. And Rivera got a good arm. He'll deal with Cabrera with Abreu, the runner at first, who beat out the infield hit.
Very reliable reliever from Washington. Good chance here to deal with one of the toughest hitters in all of baseball.
And just a baby still. He doesn't turn 25 until the end of April. The 1-0. Hit in the air, center field. Beltran, long run. Able to make the grab, and Abreu back to first. Well, if you're just joining us, here's what happened. Venezuela got on the board, and some help from the legs of Bob Abreu.
One out steal of second base, got himself into scoring position. Then with 2 outs and 2 strikes on Carlos Guillen, Guillen delivers the first run of the ball game. That would be the only score until the top of the 7th, when Ramon Hernandez leads off the home run with a controversial home run. They had to go to the replay. Ed Rapuano, the home plate umpire, signaling home run and summoning Hernandez to score.
And that's where we are, 2-0. So a little bit of trivia tonight. Who hit the first home run reversed or replay reversed home run in World Baseball history? Ramon Hernandez. By the way, the first home run in World Baseball Classic history, Wang Wei of China back in 2006. Just, you know, to impress the friends and the family over at the cocktail parties.
Very strong work, John.
So
Very strong.
You can drop the Wang Wei and the Ramon Hernandez on them all in the same breath and just stun them. Carlos Guillen at RBI. He's got that hit sandwich between a strikeout and a ground out. Venezuela up 2-0. And quickly 0-2. Puerto Rico the only unbeaten left in the tournament. Following our game in San Diego, an elimination game between Cuba and Mexico.
Abreu not really sure about Rivera and his move to first. Didn't have a very aggressive lead. When he stole that base back in the third inning, he was all the way to the cut of the grass. Now he's about 3 feet short of that.
Rapalata clapping his hands, saying, "Come on, let's go. Let's move it along." That one down and away.
Pretty quick slide step right there that Rivera implemented, making it difficult for Abreu to get a jump. This was the combination that manufactured the first run of the ball game. Guillen drove in Abreu after the right fielder stole second back in the third inning.
2 runs on 7 hits for Venezuela. No runs, 4 hits for Puerto Rico. And Rivera very intent on keeping Abreu close. Saul Rivera trying to keep Abreu tight over there at first base. Delgado holds him on. Here in Miami, Venezuela leading Puerto Rico 2-0.
Rivera's got a pretty good feel for Rivera's move now. He has lengthened his lead all the way to the cut of the grass.
Rivera really dragging this out. Slow roller to short. Picked up by Cora. Nice play. That was a tough play. Momentum taking him towards home plate. Threw across his body and fires a strike to Delgado.
Now, Alex Cora is a marvelous defensive player, and he knows it's do or die. But look at how he goes after it with 2 hands, gets it from his glove to his throwing hand. Immediately, it throws a strike across his body to Delgado. This is a tough play, and he makes it flawlessly. Right on the money.
Cora helps to retire Guillen, and now with 2 outs, a man in scoring position. And Magler Ordonez, who is now 3 out of 19 in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. And the fans have been letting him have it from both sides. Ordonez, a batting champ in 07. They're buzzing. Off the end of the bat, Rivera gloves it. And Ordonez retired. Stays 2-0 here in Miami. Back here at Dolphin Stadium in Miami. And a new pitcher for Luis Sojo and Venezuela. Ramon Ramirez will take over. And this right-hander, the fourth used in the game for Venezuela. Felix Hernandez started. And the first one to Beltran misses upstairs. Ball 1. Carlos Beltran in this game, a walk, a double, and another walk.
Another high fastball, and this is not exactly what you want to do. Come in to face the first batter and fall behind 3-0. Especially this part of the order, Beltran and Delgado.
There's a strike. Let's remember that Venezuela has one of, if not the best closers in this tournament, in Francisco Rodriguez. So Luis Sojo has that in his back pocket.
One of the best in the world.
Indeed. So Ramon Ramirez the walk, and some help defensively as Andy Chavez takes over in left. So good speed in the outfield. There's a lot of room out there. Chavez, Blanco, and Abreu left to right. And now Carlos Delgado. Got to be careful with this guy. 469 career homers. And he can tie this thing up with one swing easy.
A little too anxious there. He was out in front of that pitch. Ramirez has an exceptional changeup, and that was it right there. It's a pitch that he really favors, and oftentimes he will throw it a little bit too frequently. Pitching coach Roberto Espinosa has talked to him about being a little more prudent when he uses it. There it is again.
That one finds the mark. It's a called strike.
It's got a lot of late movement, and he has confidence in it. There's the movement that catches the outside corner. It's a very good pitch. It's his out pitch.
See if he goes with it 3 in a row. He did, and Delgado got a piece.
All of those pitches 82, 83 miles an hour. Just under the hitting zone. Hitters like to see it about 85 to 90. That's optimum hitting speed. You either got to go above it or below it.
That one ripped to second, back to first. No double play. Oh my goodness. Lopez gobbled that up in a hurry, and Beltran, that's some exceptional reaction over there to be able to get back in time.
Well, it sure is, and look how quickly he puts on the brakes and retreats to first base. Cabrera, he did a heck of a job hanging in there and stretching to dig that ball out of the door. Lopez with good reactions.
So 1 out now. And Alex Rios takes a slider in the dirt.
It's interesting now. You would think that righty on righty would favor Ramirez, but it doesn't, because his best pitch is that changeup that's more effective against left-handed hitters. He doesn't throw the changeup with the same confidence to the right-handers, and his fastball and breaking ball aren't that good. His best weapon is best utilized against left-handed hitters.
Up and in, and your point is he won't throw the changeup to righties because it will move down and into them.
And it's really not a valid reason not to use it. because you're disrupting the timing, not so much concerned about the area. And there's K-Rod. We've already seen him once work in the 8th inning in this tournament, something he didn't do all year last year for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Here's the changeup, outside corner.
If it's your best pitch, you've got to use it to both righties and lefties.
So now 2-1. And that ball's ripped to center. Blanco will play it on a bounce. A base hit for Rios, 2 aboard and 1 out. And the go-ahead run will come to the plate.
This looks like another changeup, and Rios got a good read on it, and it did indeed run back to him, and that's why he was able to hammer it. This is an interesting situation. First and second with 1 out, but 2 exceptional base runners on the base paths. Pudge Rodriguez at the plate. Do you take a chance that they get a good jump and steal themselves into scoring position?
Breaking ball to Pudge is a strike. Beltran 25 swipes last year. Rios with 32. Oh, and 1 to Rodriguez. Lifted to right. Abreu makes the grab. Beltran not going anywhere. Pudge just did not get enough of that one, so now 2 away.
Got jammed. That ball ran right back in on his hands, and he hit it off the label.
Well, this is a big spot right here, because from both sides the same thing. You have Felipe Lopez, and lurking in the bullpen is Francisco Rodriguez. But not just that. K-Rod, if the final out is made here, is going to come in and face 8-9-1. And so if you're Puerto Rico, you're desperately trying to come up with a hit, a run, extending the inning.
Felipe Lopez had that monster home run off Jake Peavy, a 2-run shot in the 2nd inning against Team USA.
That was really the big hit in that game. 2-0 game. The 2-run blast made it 4-0 and went on to an 11-1 Mercy Rule shortened win.
The important thing for Lopez is to think big part of the field and not think home run. He's a line drive hitter that occasionally hits the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Got good runners, good speed on the bases, and look who's got a bat, Bernie Williams.
Good speed at second in Beltran. Rios at first also runs very well.
Oh, tough pitch.
This is a big ballpark with a lot of space out there in right center. Lopez hits the ball on the line with the 2 base runners on here. They could score. Is Soho going to make a move here? He's got K-Rod ready in the middle of the at-bat. A ball and 2 strikes, and he's calling for K-Rod.
Wow.
Mike Scioscia just fell off the couch.
That is right there how important this is to Team Venezuela. Goodness. Back in Miami, Venezuela clinging to a 2-0 lead. And with 2 outs, Luis Sojo in the middle of the at-bat goes to the pen, and here's Francisco Rodriguez, the 2-1. How about a 2-1 changeup fresh out of the bullpen? Sure, why not?
Well, that's been his bread and butter pitch. He has really mastered the changeup. 4th appearance in this Classic.
This place is going nuts. Now a 2-2. Whoa. A little bit of adrenaline pumping right there.
And I obviously misspoke when I referred to Mike Scioscia. That was the former manager of Francisco Rodriguez. The current manager, of course, Jerry Manuel of the Mets.
Two now. Oh, he got him on a changeup. K-Rod comes in, does the job. Puerto Rico strands 2. They're loving it in Venezuela. It stays 2-0. We go to the 9th here in Miami. The 2009 World Baseball Classic. Venezuela leading Puerto Rico 2-0. And Fernando Cabrera takes over. The right-hander will face the bottom third of the order. His numbers with the Orioles last year. First one to Jose Lopez. Lined softly to short and caught by Alex Cora. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Certainly Venezuela getting through the 8th inning, the meat of the Puerto Rican lineup. And that's why Sojo felt it imperative to shut things down right there. And he went to Francisco Rodriguez in the middle of the Felipe Lopez at bat.
So here he is, Ramon Hernandez, the single and the home run, a delayed home run. They ruled it in play after it went over the National League scoreboard. Went to the video, and after looking at the replay, ruled it a home run. That made it a 2-0 game. How big is that hit? How big is that rule? You think about it.
Been a well-played game again, and obviously the pitching has been dominant. 12 hits in the game. A stolen base, a 2-out base hit by Carlos Guillen, and then the solo home run by Hernandez. That's been it.
Winner of this one advances to Los Angeles. Be part of the 4 teams represented there before semifinalists. That ball's ripped out towards right center, and it'll drop for a hit. Beltran picks it up. Have a night, Ramon Hernandez. 3 out of 4.
Here's the 7th inning home run by Hernandez. Initially ruled a triple. Ball stayed in the ballpark. He dives in ahead of the throw. And then Ed Rapawala, the umpires, looked at video replay, and he signals home run. And Hernandez would be credited with the home run.
And Gerardo Parra is going to be a pinch runner. So 1 out, man on. And Cabrera pumps in a strike to Marco Scutaro. The United States watching and waiting. They'll play the loser of this game in an elimination game tomorrow night.
And if it holds up, they will have a chance to avenge the 11-1 loss at the hands of Puerto Rico.
A strike down to Scudero. Henry Blanco getting loose. It looks like he will come in. Outstanding defensive catcher. Saturday came into the game as a pinch runner and was promptly picked off. Inside. K-Rod just dancing around, trying to stay loose.
What a talent. He has mastered that changeup to go with a great fastball and a wicked breaking ball.
Runner goes. Scudero slaps it foul. Yeah, K-Rod, top closers in the majors. You see Blanco back there stretching, getting loose, and again you can just tell how hyper he is, anxious to get back out there. There's probably part of him that just would like to see this thing. Let's go, bam bam bam, and he's back out there. Runner goes, throw down a second, tag, not in time.
Well, I tell you what, Yadier Molina made a heck of a throw. Parra got a running start at first base. I thought he had no chance at all. Cabrera's very deliberate, but look at this throw, right on the money. And it's only the slow delivery of his pitcher that allowed the base runner to beat that throw. That ball bounced in the dirt as well. I mean, he is as good as anybody in the game.
Dug it out on the backhand and still threw a strike down to second. And that was close call type play as Lopez banged the glove right down to the head of Parra as he was putting his hand on the base. Mark Wegner on the call. And Ramon Hernandez. What a game it's been for him. Hernandez 3 hits, including a home run. Single here in the ninth. Parra is now at second.
Good. Spoiling a tough pitch. That breaking ball away, and Scudero hitting with 2 strikes. Really waiting back, fighting off that breaking pitch.
So 3-2 with 1 out man at second. Cabrera deals down and in. Ball 4. He lost him. And Jose Oquendo pops out of the dugout. Coming up tomorrow, loser of this one will take on the United States in an elimination game. And it will set the other team from Pool 2 to head to Los Angeles. And then Japan will take on Korea in the nightcap. That from San Diego. Pitch and change, break in the action. They're underway out in San Diego. No score. Cuba and Mexico. And the new pitcher for Puerto Rico will be the left-hander from the New York Mets, Pedro Feliciano.
Feliciano, one of the three left-handers we mentioned that Puerto Rico has, and already J.C. Romero has appeared in this game. Now Feliciano will try to come in here and keep this game a two-run ball game. He's going to deal with a pinch hitter. Henry Blanco has come out of the Venezuela dugout to step in against the left-handed offering of Feliciano.
So Henry Blanco hits for Gregor Blanco. No relation, by the way. Buck, when I was in Tokyo doing Pool A, I had a situation with Korea playing where the batter Lee was set to hit. They pinch hit for him with a batter named Lee. He walked, and they pinch ran for him with a runner named Lee. So we're not quite there yet.
Blanco for Blanco. Blanco was coming into the game to catch. So when they made the move to the left-handed pitcher, Soho countered that move with Blanco as the right-handed hitter.
So 2 on, 1 out. Venezuela trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Feliciano and a bouncer. Cora to second, one on to first. Double play. Great turn up the middle. Cora, Lopez, Delgado, and Alex Cora knew the catcher was running, and they turned it. 6-4-3, last chance. Puerto Rico coming up, down 2-0. Gorgeous night here in Miami from Dolphin Stadium, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. Venezuela leading Puerto Rico 2-0. Bunch of changes. Henry Blanco stays in the game and takes over at the catcher spot. Cesar Torres is the new shortstop, and as Torres at short, Gerardo Parra stays in the game to play left. Andy Chavez will move from left to center. And Yadier Molina facing Francisco Rodriguez. Molina, a couple of walks, and he's tapped out to the catcher. Great breaking ball right there. Quickly, 0-2.
Most closers will have 2 pitches, fastball, breaking ball. Now with the addition of the changeup, Francisco Rodriguez has 3 quality pitches.
Because you don't need much more than that to get through an inning, do you?
No.
The 2, I mean.
2 is all you need. Now he's really overmatching hitters. 94 miles an hour. You know, there have been some questions about his velocity dropping down, and people suggest, well, that's why he's throwing the changeup. He still has enough zip on his fastball.
So Molina here with the count 1-2 in a tough spot. And that one downstairs, that looked like the change.
Yeah, it was the change at 83 miles an hour, and the thing that makes it so effective is he has a violent delivery, and you see a lot of body come through there, and the arm action is just exactly like the fastball, and the ball never gets there.
It's sort of like the reverse Mariano Rivera cutter, right? The smooth, easy motion, and then bang, it's right up on you.
Good call.
That one golfed in the air down the line, but it'll curl foul. Here in Miami, John Shambi, Buck Martinez. Venezuela leading Puerto Rico 2-0. We're in the bottom of the ninth. Round 2 of the World Baseball Classic, and here in Pool 2, the winner of this one is guaranteed a spot in the final round in Los Angeles. The loser will play the United States in an elimination game tomorrow night here in Miami. The 2-2.
And Venezuela didn't advance out of the second round in the inaugural Classic in 2006. They lost to Cuba 7-2 in game one, beat Puerto Rico 6-0, but then lost to the Dominican Republic 2-1. A disappointing result.
So 2-2 to Yadier Molina. And he's hanging in there against Francisco Rodriguez. Rodriguez and company trying to come up with a rally in the bottom of the ninth against arguably the best closer in baseball, maybe the world. And the breaking ball popped up. Cabrera comes in under it. He's got it. There's one away here in the bottom of the ninth.
The single season Major League save record holder, 62 saves. As we mentioned, not once last year pitching for the Angels did he come in and get a 4-out save. He's on the verge of doing it twice in this pool.
Ball one, no strikes on Alex Cora, 0 for 3. And now 2-0. You surprised they're not hitting Bernie Williams here?
No, not really. I think it's a situation where Bernie has but 4 at-bats in the tournament, and to have him face a guy like this wouldn't really be justified. Tough enough to hit a guy like Rodriguez if you've had 3 at-bats in the game. Tough to come off the bench when you've been out of pro ball for a couple of years to try to catch up to K-Rod.
2-1. Ooh. 2-2.
This is the top of the strike zone. A lot of movement up and away, but catches that outside corner.
Fans on their feet here at Dolphin Stadium in Miami. Now the 2-2. Got him looking. Cora throws it. And Venezuela 1 out away from advancing to Los Angeles.
Fastball right on the corner. When you're thinking about protecting the plate, guarding against the changeup and the breaking ball, that seems like it's 150 miles an hour.
Just too many pitches to cover. Changeup drops outside the strike zone to Jesus Feliciano, who's 0 for 4. What a win this would be for Venezuela. Right there for a strike, 1-1. RBI single by Carlos Guillen, a solo homer by Ramon Hernandez. The only 2 runs of the game for either side. Guillen the single in the 3rd, Hernandez the homer in the 7th. That was originally ruled in play in a triple. They went to the video replay, and then they went the final 90 feet. Bounding ball right side. This will do it. Lopez the first. Ball game, and Venezuela, the first team to advance to Los Angeles. K-Rod closes it down. Venezuela moving on to Los Angeles, a 2-0 win over Puerto Rico. And this is supposed to be an exhibition, right? Okay.
I don't think so. 2 4-out saves for K-Rod. Venezuela wins 2-0. Bobby Abreu scored the first run of the game after stealing second base. Scores on a Carlos Guillen 2-out, 2-strike RBI single.
This was back in the 3rd inning, as Snell got off to the good start. Felix Hernandez matched them strikeout for strikeout. Here was an odd play. Pudge Rodriguez hit a ground ball that struck Alex Rios. Umpires got together and they ruled him out, correctly so. And then it was Guillen, the RBI single to plate Abreu. That made it 1-0.
And then Carlos Vasquez with runners at first and third after Felix Hernandez was taken out of the game because of the pitch count. Strikes out Delgado, and then a little insurance off the bat of Ramon Hernandez. Initially ruled a triple. Checked with the video replay. Ruled a home run. Second run of the ball game for Venezuela.
And K-Rod in the 8th brought into the game. Got the big out, striking out Felipe Lopez. And then locked it down in the 9th. Venezuela is moving on.